Am I good to go?
Sure, Nicole, if you don't mind, I'll go ahead and tee this up for you real quick. Is
Sure.
that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. First off, happy holidays to everyone joining this webinar today. We are so excited to have the team here with Eagle Point on the Pinnacle Series team to share with us a little bit about really learning how to be able to focus on a self-paced learning tool that can help you and your students within your institution. The Pinnacle Series is a comprehensive learning management system specifically designed for the AEC, product design, and manufacturing industries. So whether your school, college, university, or trade union is challenged to really cultivate a learning culture, capture and share internal knowledge, reduce error rates, boost productivity, or satisfy safety and compliance requirements, this solution is going to be perfect for you. And we really welcome you to really to focus on that smart road to success. So with that said, we're going to hand it off to Nicole, who is going to then kind of walk us through specifically about the Eagle Point Pinnacle series. She's going to be facilitating this live webinar. So Nicole, the floor is yours, and thank you so
Okay.
much.
Yes, of course. Thanks, everybody. All right. So just to kind of give you an idea of who I am, my name is Nicole Rohusky. I am a designated customer success manager with Eagle Point Software. Essentially, what that means to you is that I have the pleasure of working with our clients and instructors alike to really ensure that the Pinnacle Series is meeting your needs on a day-to-day basis and ensuring that we can really service your students to the best of their ability and making sure that they're ready, workforce ready from day one. All right. So let's talk a little bit more about the organization that I work for. So, who is Eagle Point? We actually have been in the architecture, engineering, construction, and manufacturing space for over 40 years now. And we are predominantly a company of architects, engineer, construction managers, and customer success managers and developers, really leveraging our knowledge base to deliver a solution to meet the industry standard when it comes to your common Autodesk products and more. The Pinnacle Series solution was actually born in the early 2000s. And what we were hearing from organizations is that they were struggling. And so, what we wanted to deliver was an on demand learning experience that has since exploded, really meeting the market needs when it comes to that technical training and those key aspects. Right now, there's over 600,000 users within the solution today, and we work very closely with Autodesk to really ensure that we are getting the latest and greatest updates so we can meet the needs of the industry experts that we serve on a day-to-day basis. So, why Pinnacle Series? How is it going to help you within your day-to-day role? Whether you're an educator, trainer, instructor, professional, it's meant to complement your curriculum that you're delivering. We don't want to replace that instructor-led experience. We really want to ensure that you have the tools and the resources to make sure that your students are going to be able to hit the ground running when they are ready, as well as current day-to-day experts today. Teachers can allow the teachers to get up to speed on design, as well as transferring that knowledge to your students. And many colleges, universities, chapters, unions have labs with Autodesk software able to help those students where resources lack and really ensuring that they know that application by leveraging a solution such as Pinnacle Series. Students are going to get access to InDesign tools to make sure that they are able to complete exercises that are being delivered to them on a regular basis and helping with that just in time training on those cases where they do have assignments that are needed. So just really ensuring that they have the day-to-day resources that they need. So let's go ahead and dive into the main interface and take a deeper dive here. So first and foremost, I do want to highlight this is a browser-based solution. So your students are going to have access to this resource wherever they have internet access, whether it is a mobile device or a tablet. We did release an updated interface. So if you've seen this before, it's going to be a little bit different from what you've seen before. Our foundational release was triggered in October. So just really calling attention to what individuals are going to be coming into the solution to access, including any assignments that they've been either enrolled in or opted to self-enroll into, as well as the product libraries that are going to be really front and center for your students to access in this day-to-day basis. Essentially, what your students are able to do is use the navigation bar on the left-hand side to really drill down into what they're seeking. So let's go ahead and get started here within the library's aspects. So when it comes to taking a look at the products that are available, students have the flexibility to either search within the search library here. They can go ahead and select from a drop down here, ranging from those Autodesk products that you see on a regular basis, as well as some soft skills training as well. And then you can actually curate your own custom libraries for the classes that you're offering, whether it's semester based or cohort based. What we really want to enable you to do is to call attention to that experience to your students, and it'll appear with a new library banner, allowing them to have access to those resources. In addition, we have training on Adobe, we're going to have Advanced Steel, AutoCAD products, Bluebeam, ACC, as well as Inventor, and much, much more. But for today's discussion, I'm going to go ahead and jump into the Revit 25, just to kind of give you a visual of how this is essentially bucketed and delivered to your students. So within this space, they have the flexibility to filter down by publisher. So in case there's resources that are being published by the university or college, you have that flexibility to allow your students to search by that or the content that we're providing. They can search by key topics. But what I really want to call your attention to is the learning modalities within these buckets of information, including learning paths, which are meant to walk a student through a skill from start to finish. So think beginner, intermediate, advanced. The beauty of our learning paths is you are able to copy these down and customize them to follow along with how you have your syllabus set up. So whether it's going to be focused on week delivery or month, however you have this structured, what we want to enable you to do is to align it with how you're teaching within your within your university or school. In addition, students are going to get access to workflows, which are meant to walk a student through a process from start to finish. So think step-by-step guidance. Again, this is fully customizable, as well as giving your students access to documents and videos. Think of these as micro learning experiences, really allowing your students to find the answers that they need and to get back onto their studies, and really just supporting them within that course that they're taking in your organization. In addition, there is the ability to filter by difficulty level or keywords if they want to really drill down into something specific here. Now, for today's discussion, I'm going to go ahead and just jump into this advanced architectural course just to give you a visual of how this is structured for your students within this space here. So what you're going to notice here is that the courseware is going to be identified for that student in terms of the description, including overall learning objectives, the difficulty level, the duration, as well as the topics that are covered. And then if you identify yourself as an expert, this is going to be internal to the university on these key individuals that students should reach out to if they need further clarification on a specific product. But in this case, a lot of the times 13 hours and 34 minutes can be very daunting. We want to make sure that we're breaking this up into bite-sized pieces for those students to consume. So there is the ability for students to have that flexibility to enroll in a singular course. So this rendering course is 18 minutes, or they can go ahead and actually pare this down by leveraging our Knowledge Smart Assessments feature. So let's say, for instance, you're instructing on a more advanced Revit topic, just going along with that advanced Revit architectural courseware here. What we're actually able to do is assess a student's understanding in that product. So let's say, for instance, if we take a look at this advanced architectural assessment, what it's going to be delivering to your students is a knowledge-based and task-based assessment. So it's a random pool of questions that are being delivered. So 20 are in total are being assigned out. And what ends up happening is it's enabling you to understand where your students are at today when they come back from summer break or Christmas break, however that ends up looking. But it gives them the ability to spend less time training on the things that they already know, because it's going to deliver them a personalized learning path if you so deem it so. In addition, as an instructor, you're getting insights to see how your students are progressing through those assessments. So it'll give you the time it took that student to take that assessment. It'll give you insight into the score that student scored. as well as any questions that were missed. So you can see what was asked, what the required answer was, and how that student answered. So you're essentially enabling that student to remedy any error in their thought process when it comes to coming back into that classroom setting. So, or however that looks internally. Now, post-assessment, what ends up happening is students are assigned a personalized learning path if you so choose. It's going to show up in their current assignments area, allowing them to reduce the amount of time that they're spending upskilling in that topic. So if you recall, it was 13 hours and 34 minutes for that learning path. Now it may be 45 minutes, depending on how that student scored. Now, in addition, from a current assigned area, your individuals are going to be essentially enrolled in learning in one of three ways. It's going to be something that they opt to self-enroll into because they want to learn more about a specific product. It'll be something that a instructor has assigned them, or it will be the result of that assessment within this space. Now, post-learning, users will get access to their enrollment history. This will include access to a certificate of completion. So if you wanted to create your own custom branded certificates of completion, you could go ahead and do so within this space. But ultimately, what we want to do is enabling your students to have access to the resources that they need to supplement the learning that is being delivered within that classroom setting. Now, when it comes to finding resources that students need, there's essentially two aspects within this space that the students can come out and search for. It's going to be the search bar up in the top right-hand corner, or they can leverage our AI chatbot that was released recently. So let's say, for instance, I'm running a quick search on stairs. What it's going to do is it's going to pare down this learning experience for me to be able to access this learning. I can go ahead and jump into it. I can go ahead and access the duration of this as well as the description, allowing me to see the resources that I need within this space. If I'm not looking for a video, I can actually come out and pare this down by a content type. If I'm only looking for documents, I can go ahead and pare that down and really jump into that resource, including that text-based and visual-based instruction that I'm needing. And if I do find this helpful, I can actually opt to bookmark it within my bookmarks for quick reference later on within this space. So really ensuring that your teams and students have access to the resources that they need. The alternative search option is going to be leveraging our AI search chat. And so this is actually meant to search any custom resources that you pull into the system, as well as any out-of-the-box content that's being provided by our offices. So essentially, a student can come out here and say, how do I modify families in Revit? Modify families. Revit. And what it's going to do is it's going to search that content, ultimately allowing your students that step-by-step instruction. Now, if this is something that is too in-depth for you as an instructor, you have the flexibility to turn this off. So your students have to search those key terms and really digging to find that instruction that is needed, kind of having a little bit of legwork that they have to do within this space instead of relying heavily on AI. So just noting that. Now, one additional key piece I do want to highlight is within the user profile, students are going to have access to their entire transcript of everything that they've successfully completed. So if they need to report that to another system, they do have that flexibility, and they can also set their preferred learning language within this solution, as well as accessing any of the downloadable add-ons. This downloadable add-ons piece ultimately allows for three things to occur. It allows for students to view content offline if there's going to be an interruption in their internet access or if they're traveling home over the holidays. What it's ultimately doing is allowing students access to the resources that they need for up to 14 days. After that time lapses, they lose access and all of that learning data is re-uploaded to the system. So you have those tracking metrics. It's allowing for what are called tool command links to occur. So these fall along the lines of like workflows, those sorts of instances. And what will happen is there'll be a hyperlink that a student can click, and it will actually run that command on their behalf in AutoCAD, Civil 3D, Plant 3D, Revit, and Inventor. The third thing is going to be leveraging a just-in-time resources within their project work. So let's say, for instance, you have established that your students are going to be working on a project over the term. they'll have access to deploy what is known as a related learning topics plugin. And so as a student is flowing through their command ribbon, they can go ahead and select this command, and it's going to generate contextual learning based on what that student is selecting. And because we sync with Active Directory and you can establish single sign-on, the beauty of this is students don't even have to have Pinnacle Series open for this to function. There's the ability to tag your own custom resources so they appear here. Students can go ahead and work on their projects. They can select that hyperlink and be passed through to consume that content. So really ensuring those supplemental resources are at their fingertips so they are able to learn those products that our industry professionals are leveraging on a day-to-day basis. Now, from an administrative side of the house, you, with the appropriate permissions as an instructor or a team lead, will have access to be able to pull in resources today. So whether you have established content that lives as a Word document, a PDF, PowerPoint, Excel, an MP4 file, our new interface allows you to pull in these resources by either navigating to them via the add new, or you can copy down anything that we're delivering to modify to meet your needs. Or you can go ahead and drag and drop it into this space to be able to have it published to your students within those libraries that we've talked about earlier on. You can create new libraries within this space. So it can be, again, based on your classes or your cohorts, however you have that established within this space. So just really ensuring that your students and teams are getting the necessary resources that they need. Now, overall, you are going to get insights to seeing how your students and staff are learning within this space. So in terms of the overall learning that's being consumed, you can adjust it for a specific date range or a class type, and you can begin to see who your top learners are, the overall learning time that's being consumed, as well as how students are progressing through the learning that's been assigned. So you can actually drill down into these metrics to better understand where your students are at. So you can filter this report by a current student or by the specific group that you've identified within this space. But then what it does is it provides you with an initial snapshot and summary of that content. But then from there, you can drill down into the raw data. Now, this is set to auto default by username and learning path name. But let's say, for instance, you were only interested in status. You have that flexibility to pull the status column header up, and then you can begin to adjust this to meet your needs. So we can pull down learning path name, and you can see everything that I'm currently enrolled in. Excuse me, and you can see the percent of content that's being reviewed, the viewing minutes, as well as how I did on a quiz as long as a quiz exists. So you're getting access into those granular metrics from that learning perspective. The system itself is built on an open API. So if you need to call this across to your LMS, such as Canvas, you can go ahead and do so within this space, leveraging that open API. In addition, you're also going to get insights to seeing how your students are logging in within this space. So you can actually come out to that specific date range, similar to how we did in the learning reports. And you can begin to see how students are logging in, what resources that they're accessing. This is really pivotal from an instructor standpoint, because if you're spending a lot of time creating supplemental resources that are, let's say, video based, and you're seeing that your students are preferring documents, it's a good indication on where you should spend your time moving forward to give them the resources that they need. You can also get insights to see what your students are searching for. So it's a good indication on where there may be areas of opportunity to improve or where the pain points are at within your students' learning. And you can also see what instructors are contributing content, as well as adding and modifying those resources within this space. So really just allowing that end-to-end experience from learning to reporting, that is going to be really pivotal for you as an instructor to supplement your resources. Now, what I want to do next is I want to call attention to the resources that are going to be really helpful for you in terms of understanding what courseware and content exists within the solution itself. So at a high level, I really wanted to call attention to the fact that we have Adobe content, Autodesk content, ACC, some soft skills, including business and management. We have some health and safety in here, Microsoft as well, Procore, project management, Revisto, SketchUp, Solibri, SolidWorks, and much, much more. And this is available on our website to drill down into a little bit farther. So if you're ever curious about the available libraries within that Autodesk offering, you have that flexibility to come out and drill down into those specific products and learn more about what is being offered. So let's say, for instance, we were to take that Revit courseware that we talked about earlier on, you can then begin to see the learning paths and the workflows across those various versions that we had just reviewed within this space and learn more. So just really wanted to call attention to our course libraries and make it as seamless as possible for you to see what's being offered. Okay. So I'm going to pause here. I've spent a lot of time throwing a lot of information across everyone. So what questions have come up?
I think, Nicole, what you touched on here has been fantastic and also helping us understand from the search our course library, this last component, where there's a simple way that they're able to kind of select exactly which particular product that they're interested in. I love the look and the look of actually what you guys have done here. This has been fantastic. Ron, do you have any questions by chance?
I do not.
Okay. All right, Nicole, the floor is yours again. Thank you, my
Yeah, of course. So essentially what I want to shift gears here is talk about the included content in a standard Pinnacle Series subscription. So really calling attention to the fact that the majority of the content that I showcased just on that previous tab there is available for organizations to leverage. We have a few add-on libraries, and those are going to be more of those soft skills or areas in which we don't offer or don't have a subject matter expert on staff. So including that Adobe content, that Microsoft content, management skills, and health and safety. Otherwise, the remainder of that content on that left-hand side of your screen is really going to be curated by our internal subject matter experts included in a standard subscription. So just calling attention to what is all included and the resources that are available to you. Excuse me. So that is ultimately what I wanted to cover today in today's webinar. If there are any other questions, I'd be happy to address those as they arise.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Nicole. And for those of you who are not able to attend, we will send you a link so you can be able to access this webinar remotely at your convenience. And also, we'll make sure that the specific account representative will be reaching out to you to answer any questions that you may have. So, with that said, happy holidays to everyone. Have a great time and enjoy the time with your family. Take care, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.